Alright, welcome to another edition of What the Fuck Happenings. The asylum called Earth. Yeah, I don't know what people are just really irritating me. Yeah, that's what they're doing. Really irritating. I mean, and the comments are just horrible. People are just too stupid. Anyway. Yeah, I don't know what to say. These people they just aren't worth it. I'm in this idiot here, since I'm going to talk a little bit about the physics thing, just because Puro is just out of control, lying scum. And I challenged the liar to actually quote somebody accurately for a change, instead of lying about them. Anyway, this asshole. Hey Gary, have you watched any of your... I have watched many of your videos, even the physics one. Your idea of matter being light trapped in orbits is not new. I'm so... That's a metaphor, asshole, but I mean, that's not the idea. The idea is that gravity is light, idiot. That's new, fuckhead. Check out the work of Walter Russell, a religious kook. The Electric Universe. I mean, it's fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Anyway, start with his Wikipedia page, I'm sure, is just a wonderful pile of shit. There are also many YouTube videos. They're all crap. Although some may be misinterpretations. Well, I don't know how they could be. He had an authorized biography. Yes, very similar. No, it's not very similar, cunt. It's not similar at all. It's not even close. It doesn't explain inertia correctly. It doesn't explain magnetism or electricity correctly. None of his crap explains any of it correctly. It's not similar at all. Fuckhead. I mean, just people are just too stupid. Just too stupid. So anyway. Alright, so, I did have a conversation with Puro for, 5 hours the other day in the physics channel. And I'll probably do a morning one tomorrow. Not today, but tomorrow. Monday, Tuesday morning. Yeah. So I'm too pissed off here with today. Day is supposed to be making some sort of point, but he didn't. He was going to make a video, but he didn't. But anyway, yeah, so anyway, Puro did this room, 8 hours of shit. Most of it unwatchable. But they spent it like an hour just ragging on me, on my character, on my competence, on my capacity to make, and my right to make an argument. Not one specific argument debunked, and misparaphrases everywhere. Puro just misparaphrases. He said, you move a magnet, its mass changes. That somehow I said something like that. I never said anything like that. Ever. I never said anything about anything ever having its mass change. Liar. I mean, preposterous liar. So, Puro hasn't read the paper that he's critiquing. He hasn't read the paper he's critiquing. It's a fact. I dare him to take a polygraph test. He hasn't read it. And that's his whole style. His style is shit. He has no integrity. He's just an asshole talking out of his ass. He did a little bit of physics in between smoking joints in college. And that qualifies him to say something. Terrible. Anyway, so this guy's supposed to be a mechanical engineer. So he's now and then says a couple of things that might be reasonable. But they're rather rare. I mean, the whole room is just trolls. And it's just one person watching now. But the room is full. It's just full of trolls. Sorry, Mr. Natural, but yeah, you are the club you dance in. I don't know why he was there. I didn't say anything. Just let Puro lie. He just sat there. I said, I don't know the point in that. No, don't I don't get the whole let's go to a room, cam up, and not say anything. Conceptually weak. Don't get it. So anyway, so it's just Vic, Mackey, and Piro doing their little raggy thing. So yeah, I'm distracted by it because I don't know. You can't argue with lying scum. I mean, and if they're never going to be held to account, if they're never going to be required to actually back up anything they say or any of the accusations they make, what's the point? I mean, clearly it's just argument by character assassination. Don't bother actually making an argument. I mean, there's just so much of this is fact, and they just, like Vic just keeps pretending these aren't facts. They are facts. He talks about evidence. Einstein didn't have any evidence. Einstein's name wasn't even known. And then Einstein got famous because a guy who really loved Einstein's fantasy bent space bullshit went out and found gravitational lensing, which is not even a significant part of Einstein's theory. I mean, it's almost a who cares part of his theory. The fact that light has mass. It doesn't really matter in any part of Einstein's theory. It's not critical to any part of it. It doesn't make any of it work. Unless you realize that the E equals mc squared thing should be important. And that energy is what makes atoms and matter gravitationally relevant. And it's the direction of the energy that's really important. The balance. School of fish argument. If the school of fish isn't moving, you can theoretically understand that for every 10 seconds of time, that exactly the same number of fish went up, as went down, as went left, as went right. If you calculate for speed and mass of the fish and all that kind of stuff. Because that's what is required for there to be no motion. Yeah, and then all you have to do is introduce one little sardine going in a direction, and the school will move. It'll move slow, but it'll move. Because that little bit of change will be divided by the entire volume of movement and change it. Now, it's a simple principle. I don't think it can be in any way logically refuted as a fact. And but this is the kind of thing they'll mock. So there's not much to say. But this whole qualified, these assholes who know nothing, disqualifying other people is really obnoxious. I've watched over 150 more than an hour long lectures, college lectures on physics. I have some qualification. That's not even counting the documentaries, the web pages, all the other stuff. I have done the work to make my arguments, to understand the dynamics as they're explained now, the theories as they explain now, and understand the evidence. Again, I don't see anybody else make a video when the gravitational wave stuff came out. I don't see anybody else making a video saying, how did the two black holes come in contact with each other? Because regular gravity theories don't allow things to get into spirals. It's really difficult to do. Speed problem. The further away you come at each other, the more distance you cover, the more likely it is you're just going to crash into each other head on. Especially two black holes of equal mass. It's very likely they're just going to crash right into each other. So if they have to be in some sort of local drama for this event to happen. And it was only me who made a video explaining, pointing out that never in the history of the whole theory of bent space has matter ever been converted into bent space. That's what they believe gravity to be, is a gravity well, a bend in a dimension of space-time. It's a separate dimension. It doesn't exist in the 3 dimensions. It's a separate dimension, and that's why they have an energy problem in going from little universe to big universe. That's why they have to keep them separate, because it's a separate dimension. But never before has anybody suggested you could make bent space out of matter. That you could convert matter from three-dimensional energy in this real world into the bent space dimension. Did somebody else make a video about that? No, I did. Because I was the one who knowledgeable enough to point out that's never been done before. Now, anybody notice they just made some new science there? Some science that Einstein never even talked about ever being possible? For Einstein, gravitational waves just meant that two things would be spiraling around each other, and they would create a frequency, obviously, in their gravity. In that when they were lined up with each other, there'd be more gravity as you would be looking at them, and then when they were far apart from each other, there would be less gravity from the center of their mass, because their masses would be separate, further away. See, this line is longer than this line. Yeah, so they'd have less gravity. And you could, that turning on and off, as a spiral happens, they're this far apart, they're right on top of each other, this far apart, right on top of each other. That's all Einstein was talking about. It's a frequency created by the spin. And they've converted it into, somehow the two things collide into each other, release non-energy. So they convert the matter into something not regular radiation, not photons, not gamma rays, not any kind of regular radiation. They convert the matter into bent space. A gravitational wave. A gravitational wave. It is like it's a shadow puppet. It's such a pile of crap. So where's the counter argument? Where's the argument? Oh, Gary, you're wrong. I mean, Gary points out that the experiment that made Einstein famous has never been repeated. Even though the Hubble telescope means you can do it every day. You could do the lensing experiment every single day with the Hubble telescope. See, they couldn't do the experiment that proved the sun could lens a sun, you know, that it could diffract the light. They couldn't do it back then because they couldn't look at the sky during the day, you know, when the sun was up. You know, so they could never look at the sun to see if something is getting lensed because the atmosphere would blind them. And now the Hubble has fixed that, and yet nothing. They tried a couple of times to redo it with a solar eclipse, and it didn't work out because the equipment failed. So they don't have, this experiment's never been repeated. So Vic Mackey talks about repeatable experiments as being part of science, some sort of principle. Principle doesn't exist for the experiment that made Einstein famous. You know, the experiment conducted by his most aggressive advocate. No, there's no bias there at all, right? I mean, no reason to be at all suspicious that his best buddy is the one who provides the evidence to make Einstein famous. No, there's nothing to turn your head and say, "Woo, that's a little smelly." And the fact that it's never been repeated, that's not smelly at all, right? No reason for any doubt or suspicion. And then all the lensing images, they just keep coming up with, well, we'll just dark matter, fix it. Dark matter is as God as you can get. You can't get any God-gapper than dark matter. We have no evidence for it. It's just conveniently fixes the mathematical problem. God fixes any problem you got with the world seeming confusing. Well, just use some God putty. Dark matter, God putty, same shit. Bullshit. Absolute bullshit. Somehow I'm unqualified to say that. Even though I'm explaining to you why I'm saying it. I'm saying it because Einstein wouldn't say the lensing they say they have an image of could happen. Because Einstein said the lensing can only happen in the surface gravity. That's why Einstein said you wouldn't see it in the universe. Because it would probably be right next to some heavy thing. And all the heavy things that Einstein knew of at the time were on fire. And we still don't know of any heavy things that aren't on fire. We've never found a dark planet heavier than a sun. And galaxies have no density. The matter's spread out, which means the gravity is weak. It's a bunch of little gravity wells, but the total is very weak. when you spread it out. If I take a mass, you can understand. If I have the Einstein spandex sheet spread out, and I punch a lot of little tiny little balls, now the total mass could be 1,000 pounds. But if I spread it out, it's just going to create like a very big but very shallow well. But if I take all of that 1,000 pounds and put it in one little ball and then put that on the spandex, you understand that the well gets really deep then, right? The gravity is strong. That means it could bend the light. But it can't bend it if it's a shallow, gigantic well. If it's a shallow lake versus a very deep pond kind of argument, you really can understand the difference, right? That the water pressure at the bottom is going to be much higher in the shallow little pond than in the giant lake. Now these arguments are invalid. Why? Because Gary is making them? I mean, fuck you, Vic. Fuck you, Piero. You people are you're a sham. You're disgusting. You know, to ridicule people for what? For being absolutely correct, and for you never proving, not even proving, not even providing a shred of fucking evidence that I've ever been wrong about anything. I mean, it's disgusting. No evidence, just ridicule. What is that? Sorry, I didn't mean to go. I mean, there's no way to avoid it just because I'm just highly irritated at the moment. And so it's just distracting, so I really can't participate in some other way because this is just very distracting that this is all you get from people. People are ballless, gutless pussies. You know, I Piero somewhere in here. You know, I'd like to play the video, but you know, it keeps jumping. So until the video finally renders into its final 8-hour form, I can't play the segment, and you know, because it just kept jumping. So I was going to play it, but I couldn't play it and respond to it because it just kept jumping. But I'd hear little bits, and you know, Piero's just making all these fucking accusations, and he backs them up with nothing. He misparaphrases entirely. Which is just lying about somebody's position. It's disgusting. And he said at some point where, you know, Gary's non-violent or something impersonal, blah, blah. No. I'm all for it. I mean, I would love to just say, yeah, you know, let's do the duel thing. You have no integrity, you lying scum. And either put up or you shut the fuck up. I mean, I'd love to force you to that issue. And if I could fucking punch you in the face for lying about what I've said, I'd do it, you fucker. You're a scummy liar, and you deserve to have somebody punch you in the fucking face. You're wrong as fuck. And you've proved it in what the arguments you've made. I brought up the waves the other day, and he kept insisting that single slits create an interference pattern. And they put on the screen a fake image, an image not of regular flat waves going in, and no, it's a 3-source thing. And I explained that to him, and he didn't admit, oh, okay, yeah, well, there's a lot of deceptive evidence out there, isn't there? He didn't say something rational like, okay, maybe this is a bullshit. Maybe you're wrong, Piero. But see, he doesn't have the same idea of wrong. He thinks the truth doesn't mean anything. It just means what your truth is. But in no truth should anyone think it's okay to lie about somebody else or to misparaphrase them. You liar. This is nothing. You know, there's nothing to say. So anyway, that's why there's trolls in Piero's room, though. It's because Piero's a fucking troll, and I don't know what exactly Mr. Natural is doing in there, but you know, again, you are who you dance with, fucker. I mean, you know, whatever. You know, he seemed to just, you know, say, what's the point? You go to a room, you say nothing. Brilliant. I mean, I certainly have the expectation if somebody spent an hour in a room ragging on Mr. Natural, that I might do something. I might say something. Like, unfair much or something. But whatever. Fuck. There's just no way. There's no way to gain any kind of perspective on this but to say, damn, I'm really going to enjoy it. You know, when I'm proven right and I can just spend the rest of my fucking life mocking you fuckers. I mean, I'm going to have posters made, you know, full-size posters made, you know, that I can shit on every day. You know, I'll video that. On your fucking heads. In your face, fuckers. You scummy, lying pieces of shit. You know, you mock anybody else on this planet. You ridicule, you laugh, you mock. Yeah, well, I'm gonna turn that card on your fucking heads. Fucking pieces of shit. Shit, shit, talking shit. That's all you are. Gutless. Dickless. Pussies. Alright. So, that's enough. So until next time, and such. Yeah, there's not really much other news, right? Yeah, there's not really much other news. I don't think. So, yeah, no, it is all kind of irritating though. I thought my last video, you know, Mastering Rational Fear, I think it was called, yeah. You know, I thought it was just an excellent video. And the ratings on it kind of suck. And the comments are just inane. I smelt a woman's poo the other day and got a boner. I mean, I really don't need it, you know. Ha ha ha, it's hilarious. Time helps. Fuck you. You don't introduce fear to people unless you think they can master it, right? Again, the whole, I was mocking the idea of mastering rational fear. Why would you want to master something that's rational, retard? Especially when master usually means ignore. You're just all too fucking stupid. You should try some anti-stress drugs or some shit. Yeah, you should try to go to hell, fucker. Quick and hard. You and Donald Trump are two peas in a pod. A ludicrous statement. This is free from tyranny. You know, I'd like to be free from the tyranny of liars. You know, liars suck. You both hate Mexicans. Yeah, I don't hate Mexicans. I hate Mexico. But yeah, I missed the point of the, you know, I've made it as clear as I can make it. I hate poor people who have kids because it's an act of child abuse. It's a fucking offense to intelligence. It's a disgusting act. And what does that have to do with Mexicans? It has to do with fucking Muslims. It has to do with Catholics. It has to do with a lot of retards, jackass. But yes, there's a lot of retards in Mexico. You both have massive egos. Yeah, well, I have a right to have one. Trump is fucking would have gone bankrupt if his daddy didn't bail him out. Jesus. It's too bad. There's now 15 replies. I don't know if this is going to be fucking... I can't delete it now because there's 15 replies. What? Gary hate Mexicans? Yeah, well, whatever. Just fuck off, Broly. Tubby cheeks. I didn't know Gary was running for president. Then again, he lives in New Jersey with Chris Christie. Well, who cares? Is that relevant? No. Did you watch his last video? He called Bernie a lunatic moron. Yes. Bernie doesn't really understand that things have to be paid for, that money doesn't grow on magic trees. He thinks education is free. Now, high school education, he thinks it's free. And he wants to make college education as free as high school education. Because it's free. Even though people have to pay in this town, 8,000, well the average is probably 10 now. An average of $10,000 a year just to live in their house. That's without the mortgage or anything, any expenses, the water heater break. No, that's without any of that shit. You have to pay 10 grand to educate people's kids. 80% of property taxes in this town go to child services, you know, kids or cops for kids or all the rest of the bullshit for kids. That's Bernie's definition of free. Well, Bernie's an idiot. Bernie thinks corporations get rich. No, rich people get rich. Taxing corporations just taxes consumers because Bernie's too stupid to figure out rich people don't pay taxes. Rich people make poor people pay the taxes. They make them pay more money so the rich man can make more profit. Rich people, unlike Piro thinks rich people are stupid, and they sit there and say, oh gee, the government's going to tax the land that my business is on. Oh, I'll just pay the tax and I won't raise prices and I won't do anything. I'll just pay it out of my rich man income because, yo, you got me. Yeah, he thinks it works that way, that rich people just sit there and say, I'll own something that I'm paying taxes on and not making money on. And it makes sense for the government to tax the service because that way the rich people won't get rich. And he thinks it works that way. Yeah, so yeah, Bernie Sanders is dumb as Piro, which is really dumb. Well, anyway, people are just too stupid. Bernie Sanders is brilliant. He's a socialist, but that's what we need. Is somebody who thinks money grows on trees and nobody has to be productive and we can all have 500 million weeks leave and, you know, I can have like I'm a woman day and I feel special and I need to go do some special womany things and we can have days for everybody just to feel like I'm, you know, let's have 479 holidays a year. Yeah, let's have like one every 8 hours, you know. Just crap. Daydreamy, wishy-washy mush. You can't run something on this crap. And I wish it wasn't crap. I mean, I wanted Bernie Sanders to be rational. I wanted him to say something like, yeah, let's get rid of all these fucking archaic teachers. Let's put all the wisdom and knowledge on the internet. Let's build a national college, a national high school, and let's put video cameras in it, and let's find the best teachers in the world, pay them a huge pile of money to do their performance art. We'll put it on video, and we'll pump it to every goddamn house in America for free. If he said something like that, I could say, yeah, there's a rational guy. But what does he want to do? He wants to pay teachers more. He wants to pay cops more. He wants to pay everybody more money. Yeah. Except who? The Chinamen. Yeah, well, we don't want to pay them anymore. I mean, it's just, you know, and let's import more. Hey, you got some poor people in your country? Send them over here because we love poor people, especially pregnant ones. And if they have, like, you know, they're pregnant with a kid with no brain, even better because we love being in the incubator business. We love taking care of those little mutant dead babies. I mean, there's no place like home. This is home for the mutant babies, baby. What do I'm sorry. In my opinion, if you think this is practical, yes, world, give me all your crazy fanatic religious kooks. Send them over here. We love them. Yeah, that's a lunatic. So yeah, fuck Bernie. Anyway. I mean, just nothing to say. It's totally impractical gibberish. He's not going to put anybody back to work. He's not going to get anybody a job because he has no practical, realistic knowledge of what's going on in the world. Human beings have no fucking innate value. Our labor used to have value because it took muscles to do something. Well, now a machine can replace a human being for so many fucking things, and so a guy who just has muscles has very little value, as we're getting. It's as is demonstrated by the wage base, that if we didn't establish a minimum wage, there'd be people actually working for a hamburger a day. Because that's what they're worth. Barely. So yeah, let's just pretend there's no reality. There's no big picture reality, that we're not threatened by not only the big picture, whereas technology has made us obsolete, and that the rich don't need us anymore. They don't need consumers. They can make a robot that consumes. They really just don't need a consumer. As funny as that sounds, as long as they're getting paid on production, what do they care? As China is also proving. Well, anyway, you people are just too stupid. You don't understand anything. You really don't understand how anything works. You just talk out of your fucking smelly asses and say shit, and you really don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I probably shouldn't let that bother me. I mean, that's just humans. They suck. They're stupid fucks. You can humiliate their ignorance, and they'll still just go on and still be stupid. And the evidence is, I mean, like I said, religion has been dead for hundreds of years. It's been dead. It was dead before Darwin, for fuck's sake. And they're still clinging to it. I mean, fuck. Ugh. Yeah, so yeah, sorry. I'm just in a place where there's just no consolation here. It's just quite horrible because you can't use logical arguments on assholes. And it just would appear that everyone's a fucking asshole. So fuck. Very discouraging. Anyway, till next time. Such.